So I just saw the 2020 home release Scoob. Let's talk about that. So Scooby-Doo and consistency haven't really been the best of friends ever. Sometimes I'm in love with one of its mini adaptations, and other times I'm just wondering what they wanted to accomplish.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
So where does Scoob lie? I think based on the title of my video, you can figure that out for yourself. There's just a lot of things about this movie that I'm not crazy about. There's a lot of directions that it goes that I don't really love. There's a lot of things that happened during the production that I just definitely didn't like. There's just a lot about this movie that's just mediocre. So I think one of the biggest things that bothered me, especially during the first half of the movie, is that the gang expresses that they wish to grow. They wish to grow a company out of Mystery Inc. And within the context of a series, that makes sense. You know, within the context of all of Scooby-Doo, if you go into it knowing about Scooby-Doo, which I would imagine the average person has, but within the context of the movie, no, it's not explored enough. And I can't believe I'm about to say this, but they should have done what Scooby-Doo 2002 did. Please hear me out. While that movie is a dumpster fire of barely connected events, see my review from April if you want to hear more on that. What it did do is that it did do a decent job of setting up the routine that they later want to disrupt. In Scoob, I guess you could say that montage accomplished that, but it just doesn't resonate that way for me. So this review, it's gonna have some spoilers. If you want to just know my final thoughts, average, a little bit below average, if I'm honest. I mean, if you have a family of kids, watch it. I'd say watch Trolls World Tour before watching this. That movie is a lot better. I know I didn't do a review on it, but it's a lot better. Just trust me, it's a lot more of an enjoyable experience. I mean, if you're a really big fan of Scooby and you just enjoy any Scooby media you get your hands on, go for it. So, there's a celebrity cameo in this film, Simon Cowell. And I've seen a whole host of opinions that range from its inclusion was unfunny to I guess it was fine to I hated it, it didn't make sense, why would Simon Cowell be talking to Scooby and the gang? And it's that last point that I just don't understand and I wanted to address, at least for a little bit. If you think Scooby is a stranger to odd celebrity cameos, then I'd really love to formally welcome you to your first piece of Scooby-Doo media. Scooby-Doo walks the street corner and can be bought easily. He is cheap. Scooby doesn't have a whole ton of cameo integrity. And I mean, and that's fine if it bothers you. It's not really implemented all that well, but it's also never been. So just don't pretend that this is foreign for Scooby. Now, something I do have a problem with the cameo, though, is Simon Cowell is very irrelevant. It feels very 2012-ish humor, which was already kind of outdated, you know? Like, who thinks the inclusion of Simon Cowell is funny? Do children even know who he is? I mean, I guess I didn't know who the Harlem Globetrotters were, so, you know. But I did find it odd. I'm not really crazy about it. So when it comes to the tone of this movie, of the full experience, the movie is on full throttle. It's like scene after scene. It is going. But also at the same time, it's really boring and unengaging. I never felt like the stakes were all that high up until the very end. I don't know why I felt so disconnected from this. I'm not sure if I can quantify this or explain it in a satisfying way, but it just feels generic. These don't really feel like the unique property that Scooby-Doo is. There is a reason Scooby-Doo has survived the test of time in a way that very few properties do, and they're not taking advantage of it here. So I want to actually talk about a couple of things I liked about the movie before I get into my biggest gripe. I like Dick. Wait, no. I like the villain in the movie, Dick Dastardly. I enjoy the way he's animated. I like his character model. Normally the jump from 2D to 3D is awkward and unappealing, but it really worked here. The characters that are really exaggerated, they're caricatures, I like the way they move. The other characters, they seem a little plastic, stiff, a little Barbie's Dreamland kind of. I mean, it's definitely not that bad, but it definitely makes me think of a Tinkerbell movie. I'm not as upset about the cutesy baby minion-y things. They don't feel like they fit in. They definitely don't. But I think they're cute and endearing enough. I clearly see it as a cash grab. But newsflash, this entire movie is a cash grab. Have you seen the cast? I guess on that note, let's talk about my biggest gripe with the movie. Normally I don't find an all-star cast that distracting. It's annoying. I hate it, but I mean, it's whatever. Usually I'm not too bothered by celebrity cast. But this is Scooby-Doo. I'm really used to these characters' voices and inflections, and it's really, 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 really weird here. I mean, of course Frank Welker, he's the returning cast. He's the one reprising his actual role as Scooby-Doo. Odd that they didn't also have him play Fred. Maybe it would be odd to keep his voice around but change everybody else. Like, you can't change Scooby's voice, but you can change, like, Fred. But what really breaks my heart about all this, and it sours my whole experience with this movie, is what happened with Matthew and Gray. They voiced these characters for 20 years, and they weren't even told about it. They weren't even contacted about their roles being recast. Well, this sucks. What a crappy way to find out. Thanks, Hollywood. You never cease to amaze me. That's supposed to be cease. That's just really heartbreaking. And a Twitter post from Gray reads, "People keep asking me what I think of Scoob, and I honestly probably won't ever be able to watch it. I'm certainly not saying that you shouldn't, but to listen to someone else doing the voice that I've done for 20 years is just too painful for me. Jeepers, I'm sorry. #Daphne." That's really shitty. And it really just bothers me. You don't accidentally voice a character for 2 decades. They are these characters' voices for a reason. At least call them and let them know they're being recast so that y'all can make more money. Like, it really soured my experience with this movie, and I don't like it. I just found it really it bothered me. It bothered me. If I had to give this movie a grade, I guess a D. Like, technically it passed. Technically it is a serviceable movie, but I didn't like it.